What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing you guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid taper on my uncle, so stay tuned. We're gonna be starting off by debulking the top with the foreguard all the way open. My uncle hates when his hair is long, so we're making sure we're keeping it short but dark at the same time. Now that we're done debulking the top, we can move on to the back taper and start with our Babyliss Gold FX. Now that we're done balding them out and making our initial guideline, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You want to make sure you make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. We're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our 1 guard all the way open and create our third guideline. This is right on top of the occipital bone, so you want to make sure you spend as much time here in detail. We are going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up this line and get it ready for the half guard. So make sure you detail as much as possible before you move on to your next guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 1 guard, we're moving on to the half guard and we're going to try to erase the line completely. Sometimes there's still a faint line, so moving on to your no guard all the way open and using its corners will definitely help erase that faint line. Always stretch the skin with your opposite hand, it will give you more room to blend. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our 2 guard all the way open and create our 4th guideline. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Also, if you want to support the channel, also follow my Instagram, is right there on the bottom right hand corner. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 2 guard, we're moving on to our 1.5 guard, and we're going to use our corners to erase the line completely and also use the lever. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using this guard, so you can switch over to your 1 guard all the way open and using its corners and the lever to soften up that line even more. Here I'm using a 3 guard all the way open, and this is going to help us connect to the 4 guard all the way open that we used on top. We're also going to flick out as much as possible using our wrist and the guard. Now we're switching over to our 4 guard all the way open, and this is gonna smooth out the top. Now that we're done with the back taper, we can move on to the back ear lineup. And we're starting off at the bottom and working our way to the top arch using the corners. You also want to make sure you don't press too hard because you could cut them with the teeth of the trimmer. See how that arch is nice and coming in? We also edged up the C-cup a little bit. This is so it could just be a little bit more cleaner. Now that we're done edging out everything and doing our rough draft, we can move on to our 3-guard all the way open and clean up our canvas. Since we already made our first guideline with our trimmers, we're moving on to our no guard all the way open and creating our second guideline. Since we cleaned up our canvas with our 3-guard all the way open, it's easier for us to see our guidelines. Here we're using the 1-guard all the way open and we're softening up the line, getting it ready for the half guard. Since we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our 2-guard all the way open and create our 4th guideline. This is going to help us blend into that 3-guard all the way open that we used, and also our 1.5 guard. Now we're going back to our Go to FX and we're making sure our C-cup is nice and crispy, because the first time we did it, it was just a rush draft, and so that we could clean up the area and make it easier for us to fade. You always want to start off at the bottom and you'll work your way to the top arch. I feel like that's the best way to line up a C-cup. If you start off at the top, you could raise it too much and make it look weird. Make sure not to press too hard with the corners of the blade because you could irritate their skin. Now we're moving on to our 1.5 guard all the way open, which is equivalent to a 2 guard, and we're gonna debulk the beard. The reason why I use a 1.5 guard all the way open instead of a 2 guard all the way closed is because the guard is smaller and it's easier to get into places. Moving on to his hairline, as you can see, he has a lot of loose hairs and bangs that hang over it. So we're gonna make sure we start off at the middle and work our way to the sides and keep it as natural as possible. As you can see, we're also trying our best to keep the corner as natural as possible and our vertical bars as natural as possible. Always start off with your no guard all the way open when fading the beard, and then move on to your 1 guard all the way open, which will help you with your half guard. Some people's sideburns are stronger than others, so it's harder, especially when they're more dense, so just keep at it and make sure it's nice and smooth. It has to match the taper that you did previously. Now that we're done lining them up, we can move on to our Turkish razor and Third Premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. But before we do that, we're going to apply some shave gel just so our razor could glide better. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you leave a comment down below of my subscriber count, I'm 100% gonna reply to it. Also, if you want to follow my Instagram, it's right there in the bottom corner. Go ahead, check it out. When using your razor, you want to make sure you stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand, and also keep the blade at a 45-degree angle. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone. What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing you guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid taper on my boy, so stay tuned. We're gonna be starting off by separating the top from the sides and making sure our canvas is nice and neat. We're also doing this so we don't cut any hairs that we don't want to cut. Now that we're done cleaning up our canvas, we can move on to our foreguard all the way closed and create our first guideline. We're also going to use our comb to feed the hair into the clipper while flicking out with our guard. Now that we're done creating our first guideline with our foreguard all the way closed, we can move on to our clipper oval comb method and start to debulk the sides. Make sure to use your vertical cuts to blend and your horizontal cuts to debulk. Make sure to keep a consistent shape, especially when you're using your clipper oval comb method. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Now we're using our foreguard all the way open just to make sure everything's nice and blended, and we're going right above our foreguard all the way open. Moving on to our gold effects, we're going to create our first guideline in the side taper and then move on to the back. Now that we're done shaving off the sideburns and creating our first guideline on the side taper, we can move on to the back and create our first guideline in the back taper. You always want to make sure you contour these guidelines to the shape of their head or neck. Now that we're done balding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You always want to make sure you make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. We're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We're then going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up this line and get it ready for the half guard. That's going to help you connect to that no guard all the way open. Now that we're done softening up the line with the one guard and our lever, we can move on to our half guard and use our corners to erase the line completely. Now that we're done with the lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. This guard is going to help us bridge from our large guards and our smaller guards, because then we're going to soften up this line and get ready for our 1.5 guard that's going to connect to our one guard all the way open. Now that we're done softening up the line, we can move on to our 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using your 1.5 guard, so switching over to your one guard all the way open and using as corners will definitely help. Now I'm going back to my previous guards, which is the 2 guard all the way open, and I'm making sure it connects smoothly to the 3 guard all the way open. Now that we're done with our guard work, we can move on to our gold effects and start off at the bottom and work our way to the top arch. Remember to go slow enough that the hair feeds into the trimmer, because if not, then you won't line them up properly. Be very careful near the ear area because the skin is very soft there, so you could nick them with the teeth of the trimmer. Since we already made our first guideline, we can move straight to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. We're then going to close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. Now we're moving on to our one guard all the way open and we're creating our third guideline. Make sure to use your corners, especially when you're on the side tapers. Now we're getting ready for our 1.5 guard and our 2 guard all the way open. Once you're done softening up the line with the 2 guard and its lever, you can move on to your 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Again, sometimes there's still a faint line after using 1.5 guard, so switching over to your 1 guard all the way open would definitely help. Now we're moving on to our 3 guard all the way open, and this is going to help us connect to the 4 guard that we used on the sides. Now we're using our previous guards to detail as much as possible because there is a few guidelines that I see. Here we're going back to our 2 guard all the way open, and we're making sure we remove this guideline in the middle. Now we're moving on to our clipper oval comb, and we're going to debulk the top right hand corner and making sure it connects to the top. Now this is the most critical part. We're going to use our 1.5 guard and our 1 guard all the way open to detail between the 2. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you made it this far into the video, leave a comment down below on my subscriber count. I want to see if you guys are paying attention. Now we're going to move on to our thinning shears, and we're going to thin out the parietal ridge. Now we're using our 3 guard all the way open to attack that dark spot on the top right hand corner. Now that we're done with our side taper, we can move on to his hairline and comb down his baby hairs and then line them up with our Gold FX. You want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then you won't line them up properly. Now we're moving on to our Turkish razor and Derby premium blades, and we're going to make them as crispy as possible. When you're using your razor, you always want to make sure you stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand, and also keep it at a 45-degree angle. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone.